We were booked to do this thing, and I was on my way to San Francisco, and somebody said, did you hear Robin is going to do this new movie, and he has a gay brother in it? I said, wait a second, because I had seen Robin on Comic Relief Do Me, and I thought it was very flattering. So we get to San Francisco, and there's no dress rooms. They have, like, these buses out in the parking lot. So I'm sitting in my trailer, and I see him coming, and I tear the door open. I said, how dare you? How dare you use my voice in vain? And he started laughing, and I said, now, give me the job of your brother. And he turned to Marcia and said, that's a good idea. 2 weeks later, I got a call, I had the job.
Are we close?
Any closer, and you'd be Mom. Yeah! He did it! Party now!
You!
Party now!
Everybody, get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! I'm better!
With Harvey Fierstein, it was a kindred spirit, because when you got that voice, what do you need, Dietrich? You're off and running. Bingo. When he says right there, I'm ready for my close-up, get real. You know, he just flies right into him. I would say something, he could top it. I would top that. We would just go, you know, he builds up that.
There were a lot of boys and girls in the office, and they went in and had their turn. I had my turn. I think they wanted me in there 3 times. I think they thought I was pretty and beautiful.
Robin, when he was Robin, he was himself. But when he went into Mrs. Doubtfire, he was really her, and so it was pretty easy for me to see her and then him.
Action!
Lydia, we gotta call the cops. We gotta call 911.
What's the matter with you?
Mrs. Doubtfire, she's a freak. She has a dick. She's peeing up. She's standing pee. Can you do that?
No, I can't do that.
Well, it's not possible.
Well, everyone, just calm down.
Good. You're getting the balls.
Lydia, watch your mouth.
Oh, my God.
Dad?
Yeah, it's me.
We find out that Mrs. Doubtfire is actually our father for the first time. So we're kind of not too sure about this. I mean, we see our dad dressed up as a woman, and it's kind of strange.
It's really you, huh?
Yeah, it's me in here. See? Hi.
Hi.
Hi. It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you guys.
It's just so much fun. You never get bored, ever. You really just have to stay alive because you don't want to, happen to have stepped on where he was going, when he takes flight. You want to be able to see where he's going and not interfere or get in the way or sort of. You certainly don't want to be rigid in any way and turn out and say, I don't know where we are, I'm lost. Just shoot that person. You just sort of have to stay alive and go wherever he goes.
I remember thinking, geez, I'm going to be working with Robin Williams. What's it going to be like? He's a very funny guy. And for me, it was just a question of really keeping it simple, just doing the scene, doing what's on the paper. But of course, what was on the paper was not always what Robin would do, because Robin likes to extemporize and do his thing.
Chris Columbus said, this is how we're working. Do it once the way I wrote it. Let me get it on film once the way it's written. Then you and Robin have an hour to do whatever you want. An hour to do whatever we want on every shot. It was heaven.
My greatest challenge was probably trying to stay focused because, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of jokes, and just like, trying to, okay, I gotta be serious in this one and try not to laugh.
Robin has this kind of, energy that just goes on and on and on. So it's, when everybody else would be dragging their butts, Robin was still kind of taking over and doing his thing.
You can really rely on his instincts. He's wonderful. And he makes the atmosphere, and he's easy to develop comedy around because he's appreciative, and it's a sort of atmosphere where humor flowers.
There just aren't many actors that there's no lie. You can't catch them lying. You can't catch them acting. It's either they really say it and they really feel it, or they can't say it and they have to rewrite the line. And of course, Robin doesn't have to do that because they let him make up his own lines. And that's the quality that he has, that absolute truth. That is, that the emotions are so real that they're funny, that the emotions are so on the surface that they're almost scary to watch, and so you laugh.
I think that the public embraced Mrs. Doubtfire because of Robin. And Robin really made that character. I mean, he gave her a lot of heart, and it really, if it wasn't for him, I mean, I don't think it would have been able to be pulled off, because it was just done really well, and I think it was Robin that really made it. He was sitting on the couch with my two sisters who's gonna be on the film, and I didn't know that it was Mrs. Doubtfire or Robin. I just thought, well, it could be like the social worker or the teacher or something. But then they introduced me, I was like, oh. And it wasn't even, the makeup wasn't even really done yet still. It was still in its like first stages, and it was really amazing then. So the makeup was, and the prosthetics stuff was really great.
He was Mrs. Doubtfire 100%. I mean, it wasn't Robin Williams. I forgot about Robin Williams, actually. I only saw Robin Williams once when he poked his head around the door one morning and said, "Good morning." And I was like, oh, Jesus, there's Robin Williams.
Well, here's one of them backstage stories that I know you want for this laser disc. I never saw Mrs. Doubtfire. I never saw her. I'm not in the movie with Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm in the movie with my brother, Daniel. And then I dress him up as Mrs. Doubtfire. But if you look at that scene carefully, it's only his back. So there was Robin with a wig and a dress on.
It was nice to see two people in love, to see Robin and Marsha in love, producing this picture and producing a film which I think has a lot of healing values for families who are going through traumatic experiences, for children, little children whose mummies and daddies are breaking up. And I think it dealt with it in a very humorous, human, eloquent way, and extremely entertaining.
The movie was really special for the sense that it really came off real, that it didn't have this happy, I mean, it had a happy ending, but didn't really have this sweet, happy, totally perfect ending. It really sort of gave the realism about it. It just sort of said, no, that this is the way it is, and usually everything will work out, even though it's not the perfect thing that could happen.
Well, the greatest part for me of having been in this movie is kids stopping me wherever I go. I mean, because I've never done a family-oriented thing before, and it's wonderful. I went to a Little League game of my nephew's, and I arrived sort of halfway in the game, and all these kids sitting on the bench just stood there staring at me. It was really cute.
To work on something which you really love and care for and have a great time doing, and then for it to go out there into the world, you release it, and for it to be loved back, and is a magnificent feeling.
Chris liked what I did, and he thought that since they were going to have an animation section in the picture as the beginning, that he'd like to have me do it, because he wanted it done in a what you call the classic term, that is full animation. Full animation being what was done mainly at Disney and Warner Brothers, in which it wasn't what characters look like, it's the way they move that makes them what they are. In other words, it's acting. And that's what we did. Bugs Bunny wasn't funny because of what he looked like. If he was funny by the way he moved. The same thing was true of Daffy, and as it turned out, the characters that we did for Mrs. Doubtfire. When they said they wanted a new bird and a new cat, I thought, now wait a minute, it's like asking to come up with a new mouse. So I decided that rather than going along, and making a cute little bird, I'd make a feisty little bird. And that's what he ended up with, and we decided his name was Pudgy, and Grunge was the name of the cat. So then we had to decide who they were, what kind of voices they had, and what they were capable of doing. And of course, you find very few little parakeets that can sing grand opera. So Robin had to learn to sing grand opera as well as, not kidding it, but try to sing it fairly straight, which it does at the beginning of the picture. Robin did all the voices for this cartoon, and even some we didn't use. He did the lady too, who spoke a few lines, but and he could do that. Remarkable, versatile guy. And when I first saw him, after I'd done this work, and went up and saw him to talk about it as it was progressing, I was so astonished when I was waiting in the waiting room there to go out on the stage, and And this little old lady came walking in and came up and put his arms around me, her arm around me. And I really didn't recognize Robin. It was really astonishing. He's so versatile and so willing. Many actors are not willing. I mean, and many of them try to dominate a recording session by being funny. Robin is funny anyway. He can't stop himself. But he didn't try to come in and tell a dirty joke in order to get people laughing and then do the voice. He came in very businesslike, did the voices. And but it's almost impossible for him not to be funny. Once in a while you get to work with a great artist. And if Robin isn't a great artist, I don't know what one is. And he's a joy to look at and a joy to work with, and a very decent and good person. And that's a funny combination, because there have been very autocratic comedians that were not pleasant people to be around. But Robin, as I say, is thoughtful, kind, extraordinarily talented, and a great admirer, and he expresses his admiration for things that he enjoys, such as good animation. Yeah, it was a privilege to work with that bouncing young Chris Columbus, who, like his forebear, is discovering new worlds. I believe with Arthur Rubinstein, who said, the least you owe an audience is the best you can do. And I've tried to do that always. I do not believe in talking down to children or talking down to an audience. I try to do the best I can, and I've done almost 300 cartoons of various sizes, but including, of course, How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Rikki Tikki Tavi and The White Seal and many others. And in each case, the fun of it is the challenge of each one. And after you've finished one, I don't think you really belong in the trade unless you wonder whether you can do another. Unless you come up sort of empty-handed and are faced with that terrible white sheet of paper or that blank piece of film. Charlie Chaplin objected strongly to the term filmmaker, which every student believes in film school believes he's a filmmaker. Chaplin said that the only filmmaker is a person who runs a laboratory and supplies the raw stock. The rest of us try to put something on that raw stock, but he's the only person that can claim to be a filmmaker.
Figaro, 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 son qua, Figaro, son qua, Figaro là, Figaro qua, Figaro là, Figaro su, Figaro giù, Figaro su, Figaro giù, pronto prontissimo, son come il fulmine, sono il factotum della città, della città, della città, della città, della città. Bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo, bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo. A te fortuna, a te fortuna, a te fortuna, non mancherà. La 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 la. A te fortuna, a te fortuna, a te fortuna, non mancherà. Sono il factotum della città, sono il factotum della città, della città, della città, della città.
Salutations, snack.
Yelp. On second thought.
Yay!
911! 911! Police! Civic authorities! ASPCA! ASAP!
That's nice, children. Just don't fight.
Murder! Betrayal! Kidnapped! No! Birdnap! Please help! 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 Eat your heart out, Meryl Streep.
This little piggy went to market. This little piggy's not home. This little piggy had hot roast bird. Disappointment is the backbone of sadness.
I don't mean to be presumptuous, but are you following me?
peekaboo.
How are you at untangling cats from their tails? This is not an academic question.
Only a very foolish parakeet would miss an opportunity like this.
Pardon me, but could you help a fellow American who's down on his luck?
Don't worry your pretty little head. First law of animation is you can't fall if you don't look down. Avery's law.
Now, let me know because that was
Oops. You looked. Ciao, gatto. What a catamaran. What a cataclysm. What a catastrophe.
Cup of garlic, a twist of parakeets. Eat your heart out, Julia child.
Excuse me, but isn't it customary for the jailbird to get one telephone call?
In your case, I think not. Afternoon snacks have very few civil liberties. But I'm not wholly without heart. How about a nice, soothing cigarette?
Big cancer.
People say, you know, there's that method acting of, you know, you create the character, it kind of comes from within. This is one of those things that, as they added the elements, she appeared. We did these makeup tests, and each one seemed to get better. The voice even changed. The first voice was a little bit like that. And then it softened up as she got softer, and it kind of, you know, went from being Margaret Thatcher, transitioned a little bit into Julia Childs, and slowly but surely, Chris seemed to like that voice more than anything.
That look, you know, took really one Saturday to perfect. The makeup pieces were put on to Robin. He went through makeup. We'd all decided on a particular wig and hair color that we liked. We found wardrobe that we thought was perfect for Mrs. Doubtfire, the right glasses. And then we did a videotape test. And on that particular videotape test, it's the first time you actually see Mrs. Doubtfire. And the first time you actually, Robin started to feel comfortable in the role. And it's an amazing sort of transformation. It's almost like a screen test because Robin just became Mrs. Doubtfire.
Marker.
Excuse me. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Ephigenia Doubtfire, and I'm very, excuse me, my teeth. If you need any references, I've brought a few. No, I don't. I'm very sorry, I don't have them with me. But if you'd like to ask anything, that's fine, if you wish. Should I sit, or...
Would you mind sitting down for us?
Oh, God, no, this is not basic instinct. Oh. If you don't mind, I'll just... So nice that you have me here today, dear.
Miss,
Thank you.
I'm so glad you could come.
Well, it's nice to be
I
here.
have spoken to such strange people all day.
Oh, it's so hard to find the right person.
Good help.
And I hope I am that. I really hope I am.
I hope you are, too. I don't know.
You don't?
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm trained in all sorts of, in case of medical emergencies, I know CPR.
CPR?
The Heimlich.
Heimlich?
All forms of self-defense, if the children need to know that, too.
Oh,
I can, if necessary. And,
have you had to perform a Heimlich maneuver, or...
Once it was,
someone was choking?
Yes, on a piece of calamari. And I had to get behind them. And, if you needed it, it's just that Well, I'm quite strong in my own way.
You look it.
Thank you. Well, I try.
Mark.
Hello, just testing again. We'll try a simple smile. Much better then. And our big smile, which is to sell the teeth to make sure we've got our money from those. All right, if you want bigger glasses now, would that be lovely?
We can try the...
Smaller glasses, our Ben Franklin glasses. These are our big glasses, so I can tell what religion you are. There we are. Lovely. Hold on. A little. Hold on here. There we go. Oh, here they are. These are lovely ones. Today we'll be reading from Henry Miller. See, those are half glasses. There. And here, put it down. Stop. Don't do that. There. No.
Put it down.
My name is Iphigenia, and you must be...
Lydia.
Hello, Lydia. Nice to meet you. And you are?
I'm Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Nice to meet
And this must be...
Natalie.
Natalie.
You can call me Natty.
Guys, can we cut for a second? Sorry.
Mark.
Well, if it's all right with you, I think we've just shot the shit out of this.
The makeup, I think on a good day would take 3 hours, 3.5. Bad day, 4 hours, 4.5. Fee Neal, who had done makeups before, like long makeups on different people. I guess with Danny DeVito on Batman, so I think where she started this, and maybe with Jack on the first Batman, Jack Nicholson. Sorry, we're dropping names here. Let me pick them up. Okay, sweetheart. She came up with the idea that since you have to face the mirror, and since I couldn't just fall asleep because I had to keep my face moving all the time, they have to test it and make sure that you go through a full range of motion. She would put a TV up here with a videotape player so you could see it in the mirror. Bad for subtitle movies, but great to watch films while you're in makeup.
Our hairstylist, Yolanda Tusing, prepares Robin for makeup by slicking down his hair, putting in bobby pins, and then applying what we call a wig cap. And this will keep his hair really flat so it doesn't interfere with the application of the appliances. Greg Canham designed the makeup, and Greg did several different sculptures on Robin's face. And we actually had a picture of a woman who resembles Mrs. Doubtfire quite a bit, and it was a black and white picture taken in the 40s. And Greg sort of fashioned this makeup after this picture of this woman that we had. Robin's makeup is comprised of 8 overlapping foam latex appliances, all made fresh weekly so that we don't have a problem with shrinkage, and they fit together kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. When we first started doing Robin's makeup, it was upwards of around 4 hours. We knew we had to get it down from there because they wanted to be able to shoot with him for at least 10 hours a day. So if it took us 4 hours to get him ready and an hour to get him out at night, that was going to make for a very long day for Robin. So the more we did it, the faster we got. By the end of the film, it took me about 3 hours. Yolanda here is doing what we call iron curling, and this makes the hair have a much more lifelike quality. At this point, I'm gluing down his eyebrows and applying the forehead piece. This overlaps onto his temples and back into the hairline so that the wig appears to be growing right out of his head. This is the lower lip piece. As you can see, it does fit right into that chin piece and overlap into that area. So it was very important that these pieces had not shrunk at this point. The product I'm putting on his face now is what we call Pax paint, sort of a cosmetic paint that we use on top of rubber. And we dry that, and on top of that we can put any product we like. At this point I'm going in with a colored Pax paint. On top of the Pax, I then go in with rubber mask grease paint, which I'm stippling on now, and that is also done in several layers. I'll do a flesh tone, then I'll go in with a pink tone, and then stipple a flesh tone back on top of it. We sort of softened out the front of his face so it looked really like peaches and cream, and then I left in the splotchiness around the cheeks and the neck like an old lady would have. The eyebrows are then applied, a little mascara, and he did wear a little bit of eyeshadow as well. Now Yolanda is placing the wig on. And there he is.